This time the Quick Speed Shop. Check it out. Working on the Dodge. Got the fenders mounted. Got running boards. Look at that green running board now with a brown patch. What's that about? I'm also doing something to the snowplow, and maybe the wheels came back from powder coat. I don't know. You're gonna have to stay tuned, watch the whole video, and see what happens. I don't even know. It's like a surprise, like a smorgasbord. Pull it out. You never know what you're gonna get. Here we go. Let me go back a couple days, and we'll start off wherever that is. Right here. Check it out. It's the snowplow. This is a Meyer unit. The sticker's been painted over, but it's a Meyer winter. What does that say? Winter mobility. From Meyer. And why I got it in here melting is I've got the wheels at the sandblaster, and when I go to pick them up, I'm going to take this and drop it off. I got to disassemble it though. Take the rams off, take the hoses off, get the frame off, take the springs off, get the shoes off, take the cutting edge off. I thought it was in really nice shape. Then I got looking down here where the angle iron attaches. It's got some rust. It's going to be hard to see with the snow, but it's got some thin spots in it in the front. But they'll get it all blasted up. I'm just going to have it blasted and epoxy primered, and then I'll be able to do any rust repair I got to do, and then paint it yellow in the spring when it's warmer out. Or, well, I'll get the truck out of here maybe and paint it up. But it's a pretty good unit. It's pretty straight and pretty solid. It's, like I said, it's got a couple little pinholes. I'll probably drill some drain holes in this angle iron to let the water out in the future because it's not welded all the way and it gets full of water and rust. That's why it did that. But overall, it's in pretty good shape. It looks like it's been broke here in the front and booger welded together with an extra plate. We'll get a look at that when I get it apart and get it cleaned up. But these are probably the original rams, I would imagine. They've been just painted on a bunch of times. And they look, I'm pretty sure they work. I mean, they're replaceable. If I need to replace them, I'll clean them up and paint them. And this hose is looks pretty decent. But I'll check it all out. The springs are good. It's got newer mounts. I got new candlestick indicators for it up there. So it looks like the way it comes apart is there's just a steel pin that's held in with this cotter key. But I got no idea how I'm going to pull the pin out. Unless you can push it from the inside. Maybe. There might be a hole in there to tap it out. It looks like there is. So you unbolt the springs, knock them pins out, and then the blade comes loose of the structure. I'll get it all separated and take it. This thing is extremely, extremely heavy. I don't know what hundreds of pounds. If you go watch the video where I took the box apart, it was in the back of the truck forever. And I had to pretty much just dump it out on the ground. And I got it up on this little trailer here, which I picked up off the side of the road for free. So that was a good deal. And it's got free tires I got out of the dumpster on it. So everything's free. Why trash it when you can stash it? Never have too many yard trailers. All right, I got the plow frame all broken down here. Got the front piece off, but we got disaster here. If I can get it to show you, is it that side? Nope. The pivot pin on this side is broke off and rusted into that side. Here, right here. Boom. Snapped off. It must have seized up and snapped, which must have been a heck of a thing. Because here's the full-length other one. So I got to figure out what to do with that. These pieces are going to stay here. The shoes, they look like they've been replaced. I'm just going to clean them up a little bit and re-rattle can them. The springs, there's no sense to blast them. I can clean them up real fast and paint them with rattle can action as well. I want to cut the chain off because the way this works, look at that. That chain is pinched and worn really bad and destroyed. So I'm going to cut that link off, get the lifting chain off, inspect that because this... Where did I see another damage on it somewhere? I thought it was damaged. Anyways, get that off. I'll either cut the link or I might, the way this pinch is so tight there, I might cut this and grind this right off this loop and I might do a bolt-on D-ring that I can bolt the chain right to or get a removable link, I don't know, but that I'll definitely cut that bad link off. So the only thing I'll have to do to the plow is take the cutting edge off, and I flopped it down here. As you can see, it's rusty. Some of the nuts have rusted right off, and this is where the worst amount of rust is, where the plow would sit, you know, close to the ground and stuff like that. So I'm just going to take the cut-off wheel on the grinder and cut all the bolts off and get the plow edge off. This I'm just going to clean up with the grinder and then brush paint it black with some rust encapsulator. There's no reason to pay to get the cutting edge painted because that's where all the rubbing it gets the paint knocked right back off it anyways. So there's no reason to send that to the blaster. I want the main blade blasted to keep that in shape. But we do have some pitting and stuff where things happen. A couple of dents here. Like I said, there's some pinholes on the back side of the angle iron. Obviously it's been painted multiple times, but I'll have them blasted all up really good. And epoxy primer, they got really good epoxy primer. Same primer used on the frame of the truck, and then I'll get in here with when it's in primer and fix all the sins. Like this got a big wear spot. They must have rubbed on curb or something on this side. It's ground right in like a grinder would do it. So they must have plowed along a curb on the inside edge. How about this side? Is it yep, same thing. Worn in there. Oh, look at how bad it's worn off here. They took the edge right off the plow on that side. So where they were plowing parking lots and stuff, they had raised curbing and really ground the edge of that plow right down. But that's fine. It's only going to see driveway duty from now on, so it'll last as long as the truck's going to last. Well, I got the cutting edge off. That wasn't too bad. Oh, wait a minute. Oh no. Dang it. So it turns out I knew I had rust issues on the outside here where this was because water got in that angle iron once it got deformed from the curb damage and it sat and rusted. I knew that was there, but now the entire bottom edge of the plow at every brace is rotted and a huge hole there. So I've got to cut the welds here and I'm going to go up 5 inches and saw the whole bottom of the blade off so they can get in there and blast all this angle iron without having this blade on top of it. I'll have them prime it all, and I'll cut these out up past this curb damage here on both sides, and then they can blast it and prime it, and then I'll put a new 5 inches worth of blade on the bottom, and I'll have a structural snowplow again. I thought this truck lived a simple life of barely plowing anything, but I guess since the plow is, what year is it now? 44 years old. I guess it's seen a little more wear than I thought it did. fun. Look at the piles of debris that came out of the angle iron and I flopped it upside down and I beat on it. All that scale is in that angle. So what I did is I drilled holes on the bottom here that will drain out. When we weld the new blade back on, there'll be drain holes now, and I'll be able to shoot fluid film up inside there and coat these. But it's all trimmed off and ground up now, ready to go to the sandblaster. I'm just going to take that piece where the broken off pin is and try to get that out real fast tonight, put some juice in it, let it set, and see if I can beat that out of there before I take it. But I think it's ready to go. I'll end up replacing the bottom 8 inches. I'll get a piece of 14 gauge steel. And it seems like a lot of the curve is here in the middle, but it's not. It's got a little bit of curve, but not too bad. So hopefully I'll be able to clamp it and pull it down. I thought about cutting the whole blade off, and replacing the whole thing with one big piece of new sheet of 14 gauge steel. But I don't think I could ever bend it to get to sit in here. I'm not sure how they do it at where they manufacture these. I'm not sure how they do it where they manufacture these, but I was a little nervous. It would have been less cutting just to cut all the welds and knock the whole thing off in one piece. But if I couldn't get a new blade put back on it or have it look horrible, then I'd be kind of screwed. So we'll just replace the bottom 8 inches of it. It'll be fine. Butt weld it here and then just weld it back on and with good epoxy primer on this and primer between the bare steel that used to be bare here, and it'll be 1,000 times better. Then I'll fluid film it once it's painted, and it will last as long as the truck's gonna last. So I've got quite the disaster to clean up in here. Okay, it's a couple days later. I've got the plow at the sandblaster. It's gonna be about $700. Yikes, expensive, but it needs to be done because that blade, there's a lot of pitting and stuff, and is what it is. We're in this far, blow all the budget on this junk truck. So, also my friend Jordan, we've come up with a bumper scheme back here, and he's got his CNC plasma table. He's cutting me out all the pieces. So next video we should be able to make a bumper for this thing, and it's gonna be pretty awesome. So I need something to finish out this video. And if we go over here, the other day I hung one of the original running boards here on the box, and you can see, so this is a long box, stepside 8-foot box. These trucks came with a short box, 6.5 foot, 8-foot box, 8 foot like this is, or like the 1-ton trucks you get with a 9-foot box. So this is an 8-foot box, but there's 3 sets of running boards, the short ones for 6 foot, 6.5 foot, these for 8, and then the longer ones for 9. And I'll tell you how I realized that in a second. But as you can see, this guy is extremely rough. Pinholes all the way around the edge. The reason is they only primered the bottom of this and never painted it, and they rust really fast. And here where the attachments are, I'll show you why that rusts. So the green fender here, I just happen to have the running boards for the green fender truck. It was a early to mid 70s 1-ton 2-wheel drive county truck, and it was undercoated, but you can see the orange primer or the red oxide primer right from Dodge under there. This has had some kind of weird goo undercoating on it, but you see the rot holes. The reason they rot is the bed mounts, the support brackets, the wood right there would hold moisture and just immediately rot the running boards right out. This is off the brown truck. It's what's left of the bed mount cross buck there and how it mounted on there, completely disintegrated and rotted out. This is the passenger side brown running board. Really bad shape. I mean, you can see because of the primer, no protection underneath, completely rotted out from the bottom out, severely pitted. Rotted where the mount's attached, rotted all the way around here, both sides, like paper thin junk. So the reason I realized that the 9-foot boxes were available up into the 70s is I went to line this up. And I'm like, wait a minute, the green ones are like another 4 inches longer. So this truck, I didn't realize at the time when I took the fenders off of it and the running boards, but it's a 9-foot industrial box here. So I've got these running boards, and they're actually in really decent shape, except for the mounting holes for what we got going here. They're straight, and they're not rotted the rest of the way because they're undercoated. So I think we can save these green ones, and with the 4-inch difference right here, I think we can cut it right there and cut this and move this whole edge ahead into good metal. You know, the distance that's shortened it up that much right there. Take care of that hole, and then we'll take this one, and because this one's completely garbage, and be able to cut some patches out of this one, and then cut out here on the green, on both green ones, be able to patch this up and fix both these running boards and shorten them with that one, and I'll save the other one for a spare. But yeah, let's go ahead and we'll build some running boards for this truck. These are 32.5, and this guy is 28 5/8, so we'll call it 28.5. So 32, it's 4 inches shorter, just under 4 inches shorter. But that helps us here because this rust hole is less than 4 inches. Nice. So we can go ahead and we can go ahead, cut this out, and drag it up here and weld it back in and eliminate this one rust hole altogether. That'll work out good. That's the plan, man. You can see I sawed these right off the original box. I couldn't get to any of the bolts, and for whatever reason, and I just sawed them right off, probably because I figured they would break, and it was a lot faster just to sawzall it. So we can get them off. Okay, I got all the bolts and bracketry unbolted, and like I said, these are 4 inches longer. So let's go ahead and get this edge piece cut off and slide it over and weld her back in. Got to take 4 inches out of it, so it looks like right to the edge of those bumps. How's this going to shake out? Oh, okay, yeah. If I cut just on the inside edge of those bumps, these don't have to be precise either. Like, I could make it just a touch shorter. It's going to be, I'm going to have to cut to it's going to be a 1/4 inch shorter than stock, but that's all right. They give me a nice line to cut right on the inside edges of those bumps and let it hang over. How did I get anti-seize all over my hand? Hold on a second, I'm having a catastrophe. I didn't even get near it and it's on me. Yikes, that's what she said. Just cut it right here on the, right off these first set of dimples. Cut it right off there. Cut it right up here. Zing. And then once I cut this loose, we'll just cut this edge out here. I'm going to lay this overlap here. Then we'll trim this back and notch it. Probably lay this piece of sheet metal right on top of here just to get an edge. But we'll shorten this up. This is the passenger side, right? Yep. Okay. That's going to be all right. So I got the running board all tacked together. What? Who's here?
Hey, I got those rims you ordered.
Oh, it's Jordan.
Powder.
What's up? Oh my goodness, look at that. It's the powder coated rims. Are they done?
They're done.
Yes.
They're baked.
That's awesome. That looks super, man.
Yeah, man, they came out awesome. They look great. You never know they were off a roached out throwaway stuff.
They weren't roach, they was the mint ones. Those are
right.
mint.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So you epoxy coated and powder coated?
Yeah, so I used an epoxy primer and then white powder.
Epoxy powder and white powder.
Yes.
These will last forever.
They should.
And they're going to look mint with the Dodge hubcaps.
Mm-hmm. They're going to look super mint. Look at
Rusty brown and bright white. Let's go out here and hold one up to a tire. Oh, don't show them that one yet. It's a secret. Let's hold it up to the, hold on. Let's hold it up to the 33. That's going to be super mint. It's hard to tell, but it's going to be super mint. With the dog dishes and everything.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. It's going to be awesome. Awesome. Well, bam, how awesome was that wheel that Jordan brought over? I've got all 5. He powder coated them white for me, the 4 and then the spare. So in a future video here, probably a couple after this, I'm going to get some of the glass bead balancing beads and take them down and have my buddy mount them up. And we'll have them mounted up on the white wheels. And I don't know if I'm going to put them on right now. I'm a little worried about the truck being too tall. Now it can just get out the door. Put those tires on, it might be a little too tall. Plus I don't really want it sitting around all winter on the brand new tires, and I can sit on junk tires. So probably at least mount them up and get a look at them. But I'll probably wait till later on to put them on the truck. But so in the meantime, him coming over, I've got the running board repaired for the passenger side, just tacked together here right now. Use this one, cut a big chunk out of it there. Something that I never would have thought or guessed, and I didn't realize it till I cut it out and tried to fit it in. Let's see if you guys can spot it. Look at the bumps on the 9-foot stepside bed. They're 2.5 inches bump to bump. So I cut this piece out. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll measure here, and lay it in. I go to cut it out and it didn't fit. Luckily, I was able to maneuver it. Check out on this 8-foot step side, 2.25 inch bump to bump. So when they stretched this running board like 4 inches to make it for the 9-foot box, they stretched out the bumps too. Probably just to make it fit, I guess, but I don't know if you can tell eyeballing it here, like looking at it, it's hard to tell because it's, 1/4 inch, but these are definitely closer together. They are, looks like they're in the same line going this way. But yeah, there's a bigger gap here than there is here. Oh well. Is what it is. I would have never thought it would have been like that, but that's how they did it. So this side, everything's good. It just needs to be finished welded up. I cut my gap a little bit big by using some brass to tack it up there, and obviously we're putting a little rusty piece into a part that's going to clean up really good on the backside once I get all this goo off here. But it is what it is. We come over here to the truck. I've got to re-drill the mounting holes because they're off now that this has changed length. But hold this up here. Boom. I got to tweak. This is not quite fitting exactly. It's like a little bit off there. Got to hammer that back just a little bit. But there we go. We've essentially fixed our green running board, shortened it, and fixed all the rust to make a good running board here for this side. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing, use the green one for the other side too. Even though that brown one is more solid on the top, it's severely pitted underneath and it's got a bunch of pins in the edge. So both these green ones are solid because of that undercoating, so I might as well just use these. I've got to figure out some way to support them. Like I said, those factory supports rot them out for one thing, plus they mount to bed brackets I no longer have because I made all that custom floor in this thing. So I'll probably end up making some kind of L bracket off my new floor, or maybe make a bracket that bolts to the frame. This side, the fender is good, so it helps support it with the fender on the back. The other side, the fender's all rotted out here, so it's not going to support it. So we definitely need some kind of brace action so they don't just flap in the breeze. But I'll figure that out. All right, I got the running boards welded up here and bolted them on. I had to re-drill the holes where they mount to the bed because, you know, the longer running board, the holes are off. But I got it mounted up here. This one, I think, instead of making mounts to like the frame or underneath the box, I'm not going to really step on these that much. This side's going to have a spare, so it's going to be, might even bolt like a toolbox this one, but I'm thinking about making a piece of flat stock to come off the stake pocket here and down to an angle, just bolt right to this to hold the front. The rear bolts to the fender. I've just got to fix this fender in the front, weld a little patch in there. The other side is bolted on good. I just got one bolt through to the fender, but it really stiffens it up to be that way. Here, I've got to finish welding the patch. I ran out of time last night, but the rear is, the bolt's not tight, but the rear will bolt 2 bolts there. And if I just make a little mount to the stake pocket, it should be good. These, like I said, these aren't really going to be for climbing on that much. And if that piece doesn't work out, I can always make a bracket to the frame, but it'll be really easy just to come off here with a piece of flat stock and tie into it and paint that black or whatever. I think I'm going to leave these green and brown because I kind of like it. Just weld it up and grind the welds down. Maybe just let them rust in like the rest of that there, and then fluid film it later. But I kind of like the multicolor action of the running boards and the fenders and stuff. Man, the wheels came out nice though. Jordan did. I got them down in the pole barn. I've got the we just held it up there, but let's just take another look. I mean, they came out super mint, really nice gloss, white powder coat. I've got some new valve stems, the metal ones that bolt in with a gasket, so I'll be putting those on there. And then I'll, in a little bit, I'll take down my mud trains and I'll get them mounted up. My buddy's place, I gotta get some of the tire beads. I'm gonna try them balance beads in here, so I don't have to run any wheel weights. But man, this is nice. They're gonna look mint on there with the big tires. I also got the 5th one for the spare that's gonna mount here to the box, so there'll be a white wheel with a hubcap and a spare tire here mounted to the box. I gotta make all that. We'll do that in a little bit later on. But yeah, the running boards tied in a little bit more green to green on this side. But I'm glad I cut them out of the junkyard because these things are so hard to find not rotted out. And this is the only really set I've seen. You can buy them on the internet, but they're expensive. And you can buy, I think you can buy repops. They're also expensive. So we went and fixed them for free. I got like nothing in these. So in the meantime, the snow plow is off getting sandblasted now. That's going to be coming back, I don't know, in a week or so. I'm just going to have the guy put it in epoxy primer so I can do all the metal work on it later. We probably won't even work on the plow till after the truck is done in the springtime, just because it's big and heavy, and I don't want to get bogged down working on the snow plow when the rest of the truck needs to get finished. So we'll just put that away, and that'll be like the last step, is painting that yellow and fixing the metal work and getting that functional on the truck. But had to be done, and since I was making a trip to the blaster anyways, that's why I took it over there. So I'm going to start a new video right now for me, but next time will be a new video for you guys. Jordan also cut out all the steel for the rear bumper. I drew up like a rear bumper design, and he tweaked it a little bit with his software, used the digicals, and drew it up on the machinery, and cut it all out on the plasma table. So we got 1/4-inch plate all cut, ready to go. All I should have to do is make some mounts to the frame, hold it together, and tack it, and we'll have a bumper. So I'm going to start working on that right now. You guys have to stay tuned for a couple days, and you can see the bumper next time. Bam! Here at the Quick Speed Shop.